Hi, y'all. Welcome back to Your Relationship with You. I can't wait to get into this video, so I'm about to get right into it. First, I want to shout out this shirt. This is not a promotion or anything. I've just had it for a very long time. It was designed by Preston Perry on the first Poets in Autumn tour, and I am so thankful that I have it. So Jesus is God, and then it says, and I dare you to tell me otherwise. And I just love it so much because I wear it quite often. Also, uh, Pompeii jewelry. This says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. Yeah, it may say something else, but I can't remember at the moment. But Pompeii jewelry is also what I'm wearing. So it's nice to have Christian merch that you can wear, at all times. So, anyways, today's video is, I'm going to call it God and, right? God and. And this is good for me, right? Let me go back. The reason I'm calling this God and is because last night I could not sleep. My sleep went away from me. And I saw a clip from Tiffany Montgomery because she just did a Covered by God in-person ministry event. And she told the people to read 2 Kings 16, 17, 18. And that's all I heard. I didn't watch the full Covered by God, and of course I didn't attend it in person. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and read and see what 2 Kings 16, 17, 18 says. So but today's video is going to come from 2 Kings 17. And I want to read this to you guys. Well, I guess I got to give you a little bit of a backstory. So, in 2 Kings 16, the king of Judah was doing evil in the sight of God, right? And because of him being evil, idol worship and things of that nature, that the children of Israel got captured and they got sent into captivity. And so this is where we meet them in chapter 17. And there's a lot of details that you guys can go and read, but I want to focus on 17, verse 26. And I'm going to read this out of the Message version. It says, this message was sent back to the king of Assyria, saying, the people you brought in to occupy the towns of Samaria don't know what to expect of them from the God of the land. And now he has sent lions, and they're killing people right and left because nobody knows what the God of the land expects of them. So the children of Israel were taken into captivity by the Assyrians. The Assyrians sent in people to occupy the lands, Assyrian people to occupy the lands of the children of Israel. And because they are not accustomed to the ways of the Most High God, God is angry because y'all are desecrating, the land. And so God sent lions to consume the people. So this is where we meet them. Verse 27 says, the king of Assyria ordered, send back some of the priests that were taken into exile from there. They can go back and live there and instruct the people in what the God of the land expects for them. So they had the captives of the children of Israel. The king instructed the priest of the children of Israel, the priest of the Most High God, to go back into the land to teach the Assyrians how to honor God. Verse 28 says, one of the priests who had been exiled from Samaria came back and moved into Bethel. He taught them how to honor and worship God. But each people that Assyria has settled went ahead making its own gods and setting them up in the neighborhood, sects, and religious shrines that the citizens of Samaria had left behind, a local custom-made god for each people. So for Babylon was Sackhoth Beneth. For Cutha was Nergal. And I'm sorry, I'm really saying these bad, y'all. For Hamath, Ashima. For Ava, Nibhaz, and Tarta. And then for the rest of them, these people burned their children in sacrificial offerings to these gods. They honored and worshiped God, but not exclusively. They also appointed all sorts of priests, regardless of qualification, to conduct a variety of rites and fertilities in the fertility shrines. They honored and worshiped God, but also kept their devotions to their old gods in their place, in the places they had came from. So this is why I say God and. Are y'all understanding my title? This title is God and. And I know I butchered these names, but whatever, they not the Most High God know how. So whatever. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is idol worship in its entirety, right? And this is really what it looks like for us today, children of God. We will say we believe in the Messiah. We will say we believe that Yahweh, Yahshua lives, that he is the Most High, but then we'll still ascribe to zodiac signs. We'll still ascribe to sage and crystals. We'll still ascribe to tarot cards. We'll still ascribe to fraternities and sororities. We'll still ascribe to fornication. We'll still subscribe to living a sinful lifestyle and be like God and. We are so committed to being halfway in with God, just like them back there, thinking that partial submission is good enough to turn away God's anger, that grace is going to abound and abound and abound as we continue in sin. Even though the Bible tells us, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? By no means. At what point does your love for God supersede everything else? At what point does your love for God supersede everything else? At what point do you be like, I don't want anything that goes against God? Jesus is God, and that's it, point blank, period. There is no going against that. God is who God is. And God says that this other thing is wicked, then I'm going to know and I'm going to stand by this other thing being wicked. It's wicked. It's so plain especially in the Old Testament, like what is appropriate and what's not. And we still choose to be like, oh, but it's okay. That was in the Old Testament. It's not for the New Testament. We're under the new dispensation of God. God calls you to be holy at all times. He's never changed that. He's never changed that. He's never changed that. Jesus wants us to be fully submitted to him. Not partially, not in certain areas, I'll follow God and I'll be committed to his ways, except for when it comes to fornication, except when it comes to sex before marriage, which is what fornication is, except when it comes into gossiping, except when it comes into bearing false witness on another person. God and. We're always looking to have these other pieces of comfort outside of God. And that's where, since even the children of Israel, that's where we fall short. That's where we have the most error, is because at some point we feel that God is not sufficient to cover all of our needs and wants. At some point we make that actual declaration, and we hold that belief that God is not enough. God's not enough. And at what point did you start believing that? Take some time to really answer that. At what point did you start believing that God was not enough to heal you from loneliness? That he was not enough to sever soul ties? That he was not enough to give you the desires of your heart? That he was not enough to fulfill your needs, to meet every need? That he was not enough to heal your body? He was not enough to defend you. When did you start believing that? We're all about God and something else. God and somebody else. God and food. God and sex. God and shopping excessively. Like, we are addicted to our desires, and we don't know what to do without them. We don't know what to do without them. So yeah, that's the gist of it today. Like, the other day I talked about deciding. Will you decide? Will you remove and kill the things that are competing with God? It's so important, you guys. Like, God is calling us higher. He's calling us to a greater level of sacrifice. He wants more of you. One of my favorite songs, one of my favorite worship songs is Yes by Shekinah Glory. And the song says, you know, will your heart and soul say yes? If you knew what I required of you, would your soul say yes? Will you say yes? Yeah. That's what I have for y'all today. I pray it blessed you. Choose ye this day. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Be a blessing to others. Get my book, Your Relationship with You. It is available at the link in my description. I think I'm going to link that worship song, Yes, by Shekinah Glory. Yeah. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.